Reintroducing the jaguar, Panthera onca, into Yellowstone National Park would provide several potential ecological and environmental benefits as well as challenges. Trophic cascade and ecosystem balance. Jaguars are apex predators, meaning they play a critical role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. Their presence could help regulate populations of herbivores like deer and elk, which have increased since the decline of top predators in Yellowstone. Reducing overgrazing by large herbivores can allow vegetation to recover, which would benefit other species and restore the natural dynamics of the ecosystem, similar to how wolves transformed the park when reintroduced in 1995. By reintroducing jaguars, a species native to North America during the Pleistocene, the park's biodiversity would become more aligned with its ancient ecological conditions. This would help create a more balanced ecosystem with complex interactions between species, supporting a richer environment that benefits many other forms of wildlife. Without apex predators like jaguars, populations of smaller predators, mesopredators, such as coyotes, can increase, often leading to the decline of smaller prey species like ground-nesting birds and small mammals. Jaguars would help control the population of these mesopredators, creating a more balanced and sustainable food web. The presence of a charismatic predator like the jaguar could boost ecotourism in Yellowstone, drawing wildlife enthusiasts from around the world. Jaguars are iconic animals, and their presence would provide educational opportunities to raise awareness about conservation and the importance of predators in ecosystems. Reintroducing jaguars into the park could help maintain the species' genetic diversity by establishing a population in the northern range of their historical habitat. This could provide a safeguard against the threats facing jaguar populations in Central and South America, where habitat destruction and poaching pose significant challenges. Rewilding the jaguar can connect modern conservation efforts to ancient ecosystems that existed during the Pleistocene. For indigenous cultures and conservationists, restoring such a historically significant species could hold cultural and symbolic importance, recognizing the jaguar as a natural part of North America's biodiversity. Jaguars are adaptable and have been known to live in a variety of habitats, from dense jungles to arid landscapes. As climate change alters habitats in Yellowstone, the reintroduction of resilient species like the jaguar may help the ecosystem adapt more naturally to shifting environmental conditions. Challenges. Competition with existing predators. Yellowstone already has wolves and bears, and introducing jaguars could cause conflicts between these species. Habitat suitability. Yellowstone's current climate may not exactly match the jaguar's preferred habitats in Central and South America, although historical evidence shows they once thrived in a variety of environments. Human-wildlife conflict. The reintroduction of large predators can raise concerns about safety and livestock depredation. Reintroducing jaguars to Yellowstone would require careful planning, but it could bring significant ecological and cultural benefits if done responsibly. Year 1. Initial reintroduction. In a coordinated effort by wildlife agencies, conservationists and scientists, a small number of jaguars, initially 5-7 individuals, are introduced into the northern and central parts of Yellowstone National Park. These jaguars are carefully selected from regions with similar habitats in Central America and trained in semi-wild enclosures to adapt to Yellowstone's terrain, weather, and prey species. Initial reactions of the ecosystem. At first, the jaguars explore their new environment cautiously, adapting to the colder climate and unfamiliar surroundings. They stick to the dense forests, particularly along the Yellowstone River, where there is adequate cover for hunting and shelter. They begin preying on smaller ungulates like deer and pronghorn, while avoiding larger, more difficult prey such as elk and bison initially. The jaguars are fitted with GPS collars to monitor their movements, health, and interactions with other wildlife. Scientists closely observe how the reintroduction affects Yellowstone's delicate ecological balance. Year 2-3, integration and expansion. After becoming accustomed to their environment, the jaguars begin expanding their territories across the park. Mating pairs are formed, and scientists anticipate the birth of the first cubs within the next year. As apex predators, jaguars begin to influence the behavior of herbivores like elk and deer. Similar to the wolf reintroduction, herbivores change their grazing habits, avoiding areas where they are most vulnerable to jaguar attacks. This shift allows the recovery of overgrazed vegetation near rivers and valleys, restoring habitats for beavers, birds, and other small mammals. The jaguar's prey selection also diversifies. Occasionally, they bring down younger or weaker elk and test their prowess against larger prey like bison calves. Their diet helps regulate prey populations and reduce pressure on plant life, mimicking the Pleistocene ecosystem where large predators kept herbivores in check. Year 4-5. Ecological shifts and public perception. As the jaguar population stabilizes, the ecological benefits become more apparent. The regrowth of willow and aspen trees along riverbanks, due to less overgrazing, supports beaver populations, which in turn helps create wetland habitats. These wetlands increase biodiversity, benefiting fish, amphibians, and waterfowl. Coyotes, previously abundant due to the absence of apex predators, now decline in population due to competition and predation by jaguars. This helps small mammals, ground-nesting birds, and scavengers like ravens and eagles, who thrive on the remains of jaguar kills. Tourism in Yellowstone experiences a boom as visitors come from around the world to catch glimpses of these elusive, powerful cats. Guided jaguar tracking tours, educational programs, and wildlife documentaries elevate the park's profile. However, concerns from local ranchers outside the park arise over the potential threat to livestock. To mitigate this, authorities implement compensation programs and train jaguars to avoid humans through conditioning methods. Year 10 and beyond, long-term success. By year 10, Yellowstone has successfully supported a self-sustaining population of jaguars, now numbering 20-30 individuals. The jaguars have become an integral part of the park's ecosystem, playing a similar ecological role as their extinct relative, the Pleistocene North American jaguar, Panthera onca augusta. The park's food chain has reached a new balance. Herbivore populations are stable, mesopredators like coyotes and foxes have adjusted their behavior, and the landscape has undergone subtle changes, with improved biodiversity in riverine and forested areas. The reintroduction of the jaguar has contributed to restoring a piece of Yellowstone's ancient natural history, serving as a model for large predator reintroductions in other regions. A male jaguar named Suma cautiously steps out of the release enclosure. He's a magnificent creature, his muscular body covered in a golden coat with rosettes blending into the Yellowstone landscape. The crisp mountain air is much cooler than the tropical forests of his ancestors, but Suma is adaptive. The tall pine trees and wide open valleys of Yellowstone stretch before him, offering him a vast and unfamiliar wilderness. He senses the presence of other predators, detecting the distant howls of wolves and the musky scent of bears. For now, he remains close to the forest edge, scanning the terrain for food, shelter, and potential rivals. As Suma stalks a herd of elk near the Lamar Valley, he notices movement in the distance. A pack of grey wolves, about 6 strong, is circling the same herd. They are unaware of Suma's presence, focusing on isolating a young elk calf from the group. Suma watches from a distance, his golden eyes calculating. The wolves move in for the kill, but the elk are quick to respond, scattering and galloping towards the safety of the river. The calf narrowly escapes as the wolves lose their advantage. Watching from a higher vantage point, Suma waits until the wolves retreat. He silently approaches the remaining herd, and within minutes he pounces. His powerful jaws clamp down on the neck of a weak elk left behind by the fleeing group. The hunt is silent, swift. Later the wolves catch wind of his success and return to the kill. A brief standoff ensues. The alpha male growls low, but Suma, confident in his power, simply watches, his body crouched protectively over his meal. The wolves, though bold, sense the jaguar's strength. They slowly back away, looking for an easier target. It's a silent agreement between predators. Respect is earned, not forced. As autumn turns to winter, Suma has established a territory along the riverbanks where trees provide cover and prey like deer and beaver are plentiful. One afternoon, while drinking from a stream, he feels the earth tremble slightly. A large grizzly bear, twice his size, emerges from the brush. The bear is hungry, preparing for hibernation, and has picked up the scent of Suma's recent deer kill. The bear lets out a low growl, approaching the remains of the carcass. Suma growls in response, his tail flicking with agitation. Though smaller, the jaguar is built for powerful takedowns, his muscular body and crushing bite capable of killing prey much larger than him. However, Suma knows better than to engage in a fight with a grizzly, especially over a half-eaten meal. In a display of dominance, the bear charges the jaguar, causing Suma to leap effortlessly into the trees, disappearing into the canopy. The grizzly claims the leftover kill, but Suma is unharmed. From his perch above, he watches the bear, waiting for the right time to reclaim what's left or move on to new prey. As winter in Yellowstone is harsh, snow blankets the ground, and prey becomes more challenging to hunt. One morning, Suma spots a moose, its massive frame standing out against the snowy landscape. Moose are rarely hunted by other predators due to their size and strength, but Suma is intrigued. He's hungry, and the moose, though imposing, appears weak from the brutal winter. The jaguar silently follows the moose through the trees, waiting for the right moment. Hours pass as he stalks his target, using the thick snow to his advantage. Then, as the moose bends down to graze on some exposed grass near a riverbank, Suma strikes. He leaps from a ledge, landing squarely on the moose's back. His jaws clamp down on the back of the moose's skull, a typical jaguar tactic used to crush bones and deliver a fatal blow. The moose struggles, but Suma's powerful bite is too strong. The kill is monumental, and it provides enough food for Suma to survive the harshest part of winter. Over the next few days, scavengers like coyotes, ravens, and even a lone wolf approach the carcass. But none dare challenge Suma directly. He is now a dominant predator in the region. As spring approaches, Suma begins exploring more of Yellowstone's vast terrain. He crosses paths with a female jaguar, Mira, who was introduced earlier in a different part of the park. The two circle each other cautiously, exchanging low growls and scent markings. For days they engage in this ritual, establishing boundaries and testing each other's strength. Eventually, they come together, forming a loose bond during the mating season. However, another male jaguar has entered Suma's territory, a younger, more aggressive individual. The two males engage in a tense confrontation. Unlike his interactions with wolves and bears, this fight is personal. The younger male charges, but Suma stands his ground, unleashing a powerful roar before slashing at his rival with sharp claws. The battle is fierce but brief, with Suma emerging victorious. The defeated male retreats, leaving Suma to claim his territory and his mate. By the end of year 3, Suma and Mira have established a home range near Yellowstone Lake. Mira gives birth to 2 cubs in a den hidden deep within the forest. The presence of jaguar cubs is a significant milestone for the park's rewilding project, proof that the jaguars are thriving in their new environment. Bison, Yellowstone's iconic species, are among the largest prey Suma encounters. For the most part, jaguars avoid fully grown bison due to their size, but young bison calves are another matter. One early summer day, a herd of bison roams across the Lamar Valley, their shaggy coats swaying in the wind. Among the herd is a newborn calf staying close to its mother. From the tree line, Suma watches, his body low to the ground, blending into the dappled light of the forest edge. The jaguar is patient, knowing that timing is everything when hunting larger prey. As the herd begins moving towards the river, the calf briefly falls behind, distracted by a fluttering bird. This is the moment. Suma leaps from his hiding spot, his paws thundering across the earth as he barrels towards the calf. The herd reacts in a frenzy, bison stamping and scattering in every direction. The calf's mother bellows in alarm, but Suma is too fast. His powerful jaws close around the neck of the calf, and with a quick bite, it's over. The bison herd circles back, but they do not challenge Suma. They know the rules of nature. The mother snorts and kicks at the dirt before reluctantly moving on, leaving Suma with his prize. This kill marks a significant event in Yellowstone. While wolves are known to hunt bison occasionally, the jaguar has now proven its ability to tackle larger prey than even the wolves. It's a testament to Suma's adaptability, showcasing the jaguar's unmatched power. The jaguars are not the only big cats in Yellowstone. Mountain lions or cougars have long roamed the park, preying on deer and smaller animals. With the arrival of jaguars, the two species inevitably come into contact. One summer afternoon, Suma crosses paths with a mountain lion near the foot of Mount Washburn. The mountain lion, a large male, is feeding on a mule deer carcass, unaware of Suma's approach. When he notices the jaguar, a tense standoff begins. Both cats are solitary and territorial. The mountain lion snarls, backing towards the deer carcass. But Suma is larger, stronger and more experienced in dominating other predators. He lets out a low growl, his muscles rippling as he steps closer. The mountain lion tries to assert dominance, baring its teeth and hissing, but it knows it is outmatched. In a flash, Suma lunges. The mountain lion darts away, abandoning its meal. Suma claims the carcass, tearing into the remains as the mountain lion slinks into the underbrush, defeated. This interaction cements the jaguar's role as the dominant feline in Yellowstone, forcing mountain lions to shift their hunting patterns to avoid confrontations with their larger cousin. As Suma continues to make large kills, he attracts a host of scavengers to the remains. Coyotes, ever opportunistic, have learned to linger near jaguar territory, hoping to snatch a meal after Suma is done. Ravens and magpies circle above, waiting for their turn to pick at the leftovers. One evening after Suma finishes a successful hunt, a group of coyotes begins to approach the carcass. Unlike wolves, which operate in packs and can sometimes challenge a jaguar for food, coyotes are smaller and less likely to engage directly. They hang back, watching as Suma feasts, their eyes gleaming in the fading light. When Suma is finished, he leaves the kill site, retreating to his den to rest. The moment he disappears into the trees, the coyotes rush in, nipping at each other to get to the remains first. It's a tense, chaotic scene as the scavengers pick the bones clean, knowing that they've been given a rare opportunity. The presence of jaguars in Yellowstone has led to a subtle change in the behavior of scavengers. With more large kills available, scavengers like coyotes, ravens and even eagles benefit, thriving off the leftovers. These species now follow the jaguars across their territory, capitalizing on their hunting success. The jaguar population in Yellowstone has grown to a stable number, with several individuals establishing territories across the park. Suma has fathered multiple cubs, and one of his sons, Tacoma, has ventured to the southern part of the park, staking his claim along the Snake River. Tacoma, young and ambitious, begins to test his limits, clashing with wolves more frequently. One winter, Tacoma encounters a wolf pack near a herd of pronghorn. The wolves, led by their alpha, are in the middle of a hunt, circling the herd with precision. Tacoma watches from the ridge, curious, but not yet ready to interfere. The wolves close in on a weak pronghorn, bringing it down after a quick chase. As the wolves begin feeding, Tacoma makes his move. He strides confidently towards the kill, his muscular frame casting a long shadow over the snowy ground. The wolves, protective of their kill, immediately react. The alpha growls and snaps at Tacoma, but the jaguar is unfazed. He lets out a deep rumbling growl, his yellow eyes locked on the alpha. For a moment, the air is thick with tension. Then, in a sudden burst of power, Tacoma charges at the wolves, scattering them with a display of force. The wolves retreat, not willing to risk injury or death in a fight with the jaguar. Tacoma claims the pronghorn, feeding as the wolves watch from a distance, frustrated but unwilling to challenge the new king of the park. This encounter marks a shift in Yellowstone's predator dynamics. While wolves still hold dominance in numbers, the jaguar's solitary strength and stealth allow them to rival the wolves for food, creating a complex relationship between the park's apex predators. 10 years after the first jaguars were reintroduced, the ecosystem of Yellowstone has transformed. The presence of these apex predators has restored a balance to the park not seen since the Pleistocene era. Herbivore populations, particularly elk and deer, have adapted to the jaguar's hunting patterns, avoiding areas of dense cover where ambushes are likely. This shift in behavior has allowed riparian vegetation, such as willows and cottonwoods, to recover along riverbanks, benefiting species like beavers and songbirds. Small mammals, including hares and rodents, thrive in the gaps left by coyotes, which have been forced to change their behavior due to the presence of jaguars. Coyotes, once overly abundant, are now more cautious and avoid jaguar territories, leading to a more balanced predator-prey dynamic. The return of beavers, whose dams create wetlands, has significantly increased biodiversity. Wetlands support amphibians, fish, and countless bird species, further enhancing the richness of Yellowstone's ecosystem. The park's landscape is healthier, more diverse, and more resilient, with jaguars playing a key role in this rejuvenation. As the jaguar population continues to thrive, Suma, now older but still powerful, roams his territory, a symbol of Yellowstone's wild resurgence. His legacy, along with that of his offspring, will continue to shape the park for generations, reminding the world of the importance of apex predators in maintaining the delicate balance of nature. The return of the jaguar to Yellowstone isn't just a story about a single predator. It's a story about the revival of an ecosystem. A balance that was lost is being restored, and as these apex predators roam the forests and valleys, they bring with them a resurgence of life that echoes through the park. From the stealthy hunts of the mighty jaguars to the rebirth of riparian forests and the revival of biodiversity, their presence has reawakened a landscape that has been missing its keystone species for millennia. As we look to the future, we are reminded of the power of rewilding and the vital role each species plays in shaping our natural world. The story of Yellowstone is far from over, and with the jaguar back in its rightful place, we are one step closer to healing the wild. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you want to learn more about rewilding and support conservation efforts, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Together we can help protect the future of our planet's wild places.